Your hosts, Brian and Craig. We've got an interesting show for you. We got a spotlight of the week. We're going to talk about the Deshaun Watson comments, more news that came out. We've got a bunch of headlines to get into as well. Um, Stay tuned, guys, on that back end of our intro. All right, guys. It's been a little bit since we've given you a spotlight of the week. Sometimes we just don't have those. Sometimes it's better to give you the headlines because there's so much coming out. But today we're gonna deep dive. Craig, we're gonna take a deep dive into Deshaun Watson. As this episode's 126, we named it Deshaun Gate continues. Some more information's come out. This has got to be making the Cleveland Browns wonder if they made a big mistake. If the Cleveland Brown fans gonna cheer this guy on, I don't know how you can at this point. And let me tell you what, I made a video, I think it was last week, and I put it out on TikTok and I put it on YouTube. It was a little short video, like 6-7 minutes. And the shorter version was on TikTok, so it was 3 minutes long. Well, some guy got on there and it started making me feel like I didn't know what I was talking about. These women are lying. And he said this and this and this and this. And I was like, all right, let me take this video down because I just didn't know. Let me take this video down. Maybe I need to do some more research. And I regret taking that video down because there's no way you can sit here and think that Deshaun Watson's innocent. There's no way. There's no way. He had an answer for everything and thought Deshaun Watson was innocent. And I don't know if he was a Cleveland Brown fan. I don't know. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. So I want to apologize for that. But we're going to jump into it, Craig. We've got some timeline stuff. The latest news that blew me out of the water. This blew me out of the water. Was that not only was Deshaun doing this with Houston, but the Houston Texans were providing a hotel room and providing NDAs for Watson. They knew he was doing this, and they wanted to continue to pay this guy. What is going on, Craig, with this? What?
Yeah, I mean, in the original infancy stage of this, they provide this hotel room for him, and he has one of these women up in this room, and he does whatever he's been doing, and when he leaves, she texts him and says, I could ruin you. And so he goes down to the Texans, and he's like, hey, I went up and had my massage, and I get the text that says I can ruin you. So the trainer goes, yeah, hold on a second. Runs in the back and rips off about 40 of these NDAs and hands him a stack of them and goes, here, just have him sign this and we're good to go. Wait, what? Like, that's your answer? Instead of saying, hey, what did you do? Why did she say this? No, he just rips off a stack of, he kills a forest of trees and hands him a stack of non-disclosure agreements.
Deshaun's like, hey,
sign this.
Hey, can I get about 66 more?
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna need to go to Kinko's over here and run off some more copies of this. 66 women in 17 months. I'm not good at math, but that's 3.8 women a month.
Craig averages bad boy down 3.8 women a month. There's nothing else you can look. I got on here last.
I still can't. I don't understand why you need 66 different massages.
Is there not a team masseuse? Is there not one team masseuse? What are we? What are we doing?
I'm waiting for the other 42 suits to come because the story's the same with all of them.
It keeps climbing.
The story's the same with all of them.
I saw a report where he did the downward facing dog, baby, whatever.
Oh, yeah, the baby Yoda or whatever.
And made a woman touch in between. I'm like, what in the world? And the sad thing is this is probably not the first time that Houston guy was like, all right, hold on, I got a cure for that right here. Let
Yeah.
me pull
Yeah,
these
I mean,
bad boys
he
out.
knew the website to go to print it out. Like he had
And
it in his file on the computer.
yeah,
I mean, the hotel room. I
and
mean,
not
your quarterbacks and your high paid athletes, whatever, get perks. They get access to the suites. They get
right.
access to this. I get that. I get it. But as soon as he came down and said, "I have a text message that said she could ruin me," they needed to say, "What could ruin you? What did you do?"
Now maybe he was giving Deshaun Watson a benefit of a doubt. Maybe because Deshaun
I don't know
Watson's
how.
always been that clean cut guy, right? He's had that reputation that he's never done anything wrong. He never did anything wrong in Clemson. He comes here, he's a clean cut guy. Maybe he gave him the benefit of the doubt and said, "Hey,
Hey, but
maybe she's crazy. Go ahead and have their sinus," not knowing that Deshaun was doing some perverted sick stuff behind the scenes.
But what I'm saying is, if me and you, just normal, everyday, run of the mill people, go,
Yes.
hey, there's some other questions that need to be asked. The guy
Oh
that's
yeah.
on the NFL staff doesn't ask that question?
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean,
And then once they found out later all this other info, they didn't go, hey, we didn't know any of this. Stop
yeah.
giving out the NDAs.
Yeah.
And he's just making it rain over here with
Yeah.
NDAs. You know, no, negative ghostwriter, knock it off. Like, what
And
are we doing?
it's not funny. It's not funny at all. And there's the way we interact is funny. But look, I got on here last week. I said, look, Cleveland Brown got him. Good for them. Blah, blah, blah. Now I'm going, hold on a minute here. This guy, if the NFL does not suspend this guy for a year, I'm lost.
Goodell's going to lose his job.
I'm lost. If you're saying that Ridley's betting on a football game, betting a $1,500 bet on a football game, gets a year suspension, but whatever you want to call this, molesting women, I don't know what you want to call it. It's what do we call it, Greg? What's the right
sexual assault?
There you go. If you want to sexual assault women, you can't give them those 6 games. You gotta lay the hammer on them. And for all these fools, because I know the first response is going to be, well, he didn't get no criminal charges. How can you charge this guy? Stop, guys. Let's use our heads. What's his face? That beat up his lady that played for the Dallas Cowboys. He went to MMA. What's his face?
No, Greg Hardy.
Greg Hardy. You think he didn't beat his woman? We saw videos. And there was no criminal charges. Yeah, because he paid her off. She didn't show up to court. Don't think that he wasn't a woman beater. There's too much. When this first took off, Craig, back in the day, because it seems like it's been going on for 3 years now. Back in the day, I was like, okay, he asked out of Houston. There was some kind of relationship with the mayor, didn't want him out. And it seemed a little sketchy, like this is okay. I'm not sure if I believe these women. We're still coming. There's still cases with these women. There's no way you can sit down here and not think that Deshaun Watson is he's a sexual predator. That's what else are you going to say? 66 women in 17 days. Now, I'm not saying he did this with all 66 of them, but there's 24 of them out there. And I'm not saying he did it with all the 24, but there's 24 cases against him. And you cannot tell me that if just one of these is enough, but to have multiple, I can't see her defend this guy.
His attorney didn't even know about, and there's some other information that we don't need to put out on here. It's not
read
exactly.
It up if you want to. Yeah.
Huh?
I said they go read up on it if they want to. It's out there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the thing of it is if he's got 66 women in 17 months, let's say that the NFL says, all right, 6 games here. My question is he just going to stop doing what he's doing? Is he just going to stop with the massage therapist? Is he just going to not have any more massage? I don't. This isn't something he can just walk away from. This isn't something. This is continual behavior that has been proven over 17 months that he's not. I mean, if once these accusations came out, he hasn't stopped. He's still doing it. He in his head doesn't see as wrong. My problem is with the Cleveland Browns. If I'm the owner, everybody under me is fired because who did the research that told me go pull the trigger on this guy? Everything that he's facing, it's all false. Don't worry about it. It's good. We're good to go. We did our research. Nothing. And now all this comes out, and I've got to not only traded for him and gave up draft picks and capital, but I backed up the Brinks truck and gave him all the money.
Guaranteed.
And now I'm on the hold for $240 million, and he may never play a snap for me. By the time he gets unsuspended, he may be his talent may be used.
Yeah, he has played it. It'll be 2 years. If they give him your suspension, if 2 years.
You don't do something for 2 years, are you good at it when you no.
No one's that gifted.
That's what I'm saying.
I totally agree with you. And there's actually a clause in the contract that says on the first, I believe, 21 or 22 cases, they cannot cancel his contract, cancel the guaranteed money. The 23rd and 24th case came out, and the Cleveland Browns could actually say, "Hey, guy, we're going to go ahead and void this contract." But the message came out today. They're not going to. They're fully sticking with him. They're dug in here. What else are they going to do? They have no options. You can't beg Baker Mayfield to come out there and give you his 100%. They're on a win now. They're as sad as it is, Craig. As sad as it is, Deshaun Watson, whenever he comes and steps on the field, because he will play for the Cleveland Browns at some point. As long as they're winning will cure all. Winning will make people forget.
The first time he wins a big playoff game, or the first time he wins a Super Bowl for him, they'll forget about this.
That's it, and that's sad and it's sick, but that's the way it is. If they start losing, then people are going to start bringing it up. But
my question is,
he will play. He will play in the NFL. He will play for the Cleveland Browns. There's no question with that. They're sticking with him.
I mean, he will, I guess. But I mean, if I'm the NFL, how can I, as I'm trying to, in this day and age, the perception of don't damage the shield, don't bring bad negative attention to the NFL, in this day and age when all this social media and all this is in the spotlight, and it seems like every year we have one of these cases. Somebody is being called in Roger Goodell's office to be suspended, to be for domestic violence, for sexual assault, for DUI, for something. There's always somebody that is thing. But this one it hasn't ended. Like, that's why the NFL hasn't, we keep questioning why the NFL hasn't made any moves, because they don't have all the information, it appears. It appears that we're every time we think, okay, that's the last one. I mean, his attorney didn't even know about this. His attorney's like, is there something you want to tell me? Like, where did this woman come from? Like, when I sat you down and said, I need to know everything, this lady wasn't in any of them. This lady wasn't in the meeting he just had with Goodell when he said, well, I slept with 3 of them and that was all approved. That was all, consensual. This lady was in none of these statements, none of these dispositions. He didn't tell anybody about this. So that means to me that this is recent. This has happened after all this. So if he's going to continue the behavior, how can we continue to? What else are we going to find out?
I mean, I don't know. I just don't know if is it happening today. You think it's literally happening like last week?
I think this 24th one is if his attorney doesn't know about it, the NFL doesn't know about it.
Is this?
I think it has to be. I think it has to be since the time. I don't think so. I don't know. See, I don't know where to find how many of the NDAs there are. But see, that's why we're having trouble, or that's why the DA, the district attorney, is having trouble prosecuting him legally, because when it comes to criminal and it comes to civil, criminally you have to have unlocked down, proven without a doubt
Yeah.
that he did what they said. Well, when the evidence of their statement is thrown out because of the non-disclosure agreement, well then that sheds the criminal charges. It's very hard to criminally prosecute him. But civilly, you just have to have a fathom, like not even anywhere near the amount of proof civilly to win a civil case. So the 24 stories that match up step by step, he was in this pose, he moved the towel to the side, he did, they all match. Well, that's enough right there to civilly. Plus when this first started, he tried to give all of them $100,000, and they were like, I think we're going to go with a bigger number. And so they denied. Majority of these women said, no, we're not going to take the $100,000. So if you're willing to give out $230,000, $240,000 to make this go away, that tells me you did something wrong. Are you going to go pass out $240,000 if you didn't do anything wrong? No. I don't care if you make $240 million or not. I'm not giving up $240,000 if I didn't do anything. So he knows he screwed up, and he's still doing it. Nobody needs 66 different massage therapists. You just don't need one. At some point in time, you're going to find one that does what you want her to do. She keeps you on the field. She gets all the kinks out. She doesn't mind whatever weirdo things you're doing. Like, at some point in time, one of those women checked all the boxes, and he shouldn't have needed 65 more. That tells me it's beyond massage therapy. The first of all, if you go get a massage, are you taking a non-disclosure agreement with you to go? No, you don't. That tells me he had other plans.
Exactly. I mean, could you imagine if me or you walked into a spa clinic to get or a spa place to get a massage, and we're like, "Hey, will you sign?"
Yeah.
Or what? No, I won't. Can you please
They're
leave?
Be like,
get
this isn't that kind of place. You need to leave.
Yeah. Or they say, "Okay, we'll get to the back now."
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't think that's.
I'm just kidding.
But what I'm saying is the fact that you had to take that with you. That tells me you have other things in mind. When Robert Kraft went to the massage parlor, he had other things in mind. He knew he wasn't going just for a massage. Like these guys, like I don't understand where you come up with in your head, like I'm going to do this and this is part of it. Like that to me.
Well, first of all, like I told you before, Deshaun Watson, if he wants to have sex, he can find that. There's plenty of places he can go and get that done. Not massage parlors, not spa places, not massage therapists. That's just not what they do. We need to look this up because I'm looking through this timeline here, and it says HBO's Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel airs an episode about Watson and the 22 plaintiffs. So it'd be interesting to go watch that on HBO. We can go check that out here if we want to. They also talks about these. One of the women go on a podcast. Harnett and Graham appear on an episode of the Audacity podcast on June 3rd. That'd be interesting as well to kind of dig a little more into this. Look, and we all know that Deshaun Watson has done some despicable things here. If you're reading these things, and I don't see how you can not think the truth. Do we see Houston get in trouble for this?
I think so. I think Harden added him to the lawsuit.
I mean,
now it said when I read it, they added him as a defendant. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why you would? I guess he's going to try to use them to defend Watson as saying they enabled Watson. I don't know exactly his move on this to add him as a defendant, but they have been added to the lawsuit. But what I'm trying to, I mean, you have to. If they by the hotel room, I don't think if it was just the hotel room, they can say, well, we do that. We do that for anybody that we sign to a long term deal like that. We give these guys access to that. We had no idea that he was doing this. But the minute they gave him the stack of non disclosure agreements when he came and said, hey, this girl said she's going to ruin me. And
Yeah.
their answer to that she was going to ruin you was a stack of non disclosure agreements. That to me, right there. Now, I don't know if that's the organization. I don't know if that's the personal trainer. I don't know who actually gets the blame for handing him those. But whoever gave him the non disclosure agreements and told him that was the fix for the girl that was going to ruin him, that's who's going to have to answer the question.
That was and I just read that a while ago.
I believe it was the personal trainer, the trainer on the Texans staff, as I believe.
It is. The NBA reference was one given to him days earlier by Brent Nakara, a former Secret Service agent who is in the Texans' director of security.
Okay.
The NDA was given to Watson in November 2020, and in the wake of an Instagram post, who's Nia Smith, who sued Watson last week, that contains text messages, said I could really expose you. So that's I mean, how many of these things were handed out? Why do you have them so ready? Right? Why? The timeline that I'm looking at says the last, the last, yeah, well, the one of security. I don't know. The last incident, I have a timeline here of all of the places and dates that Deshaun Watson apparently has alleged that Watson has done these things, and the last one is March 5th, 2021, at a massage therapist business in Sandy Springs, Georgia. So that's when they're saying that's the last time it happened. I don't know. This has happened, and this has happened everywhere. This has happened. It's been in a plaintiff's home. It's been in Deshaun Watson's home. It's been in spas. It's been in hotels. It's been in rented rooms. It's been in Beverly Hills, California.
Watson. When you have 66 women, it's not just in the Texans. I'm wondering if it hasn't happened in Cleveland. Like, I mean, that to me is,
he would be dumb. He would be dumb. Man, maybe he's just this stupid because he's not
stupid. Real at this point.
Not real bright.
Women in 17 months. That's not the sharpest knife in the box.
But to keep doing it and go to Houston or go to Cleveland and then keep doing it there would be just a slap in the face. First of all, to not only disgusting to the woman he's doing it to, but to the Cleveland Browns organization.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is you went and had an organization trade for you, and you went and made a brand new contract with him, and you as Deshaun Watson know what's going on and what's about to happen, and you didn't tell anybody. You went and signed a $240 million contract in bad taste. You made a deal with the Cleveland Browns that said, I will be your quarterback for the next 5 years, knowingly coming down with all this was about to happen. It's not like you went in and didn't have any lawsuits pending. You have lawsuits pending against you. You know what you've done. And you didn't tell them, you didn't disclose any of that. You went in and said, yeah, I'm your guy, and I'm going to be here for the next 5 years. And if he loses, even if they only have to pay him part of this, whatever, if he loses any time, he broke his promise and broke his deal to the Cleveland Browns, and they shouldn't have to pay him. But somehow they're going to. If I'm Cleveland, I don't. I mean, now, if you want to restructure it, if you want to void this contract and then say, hey, when all this clears, we get the chance to resign you, that's fine. But if I'm Cleveland, you got a quarterback who has done nothing but work his tail off for you, and you sent him home. You sent him home and said, we're mutually agreeing that you don't need to come to mandatory minicamp. Who is your quarterback right now? Who are you really going to go with whoever this, Brett Hoyer or whatever, whoever the third string guy is? Is that really what you're going to do to your franchise? Because you've upset Baker Mayfield to the point, and you're ruining two careers right here.
No.
You're ruining. I mean, Watson's career is being ruined by himself.
Well, yeah,
But
he's done that to himself. But
but Deshaun Watson is ruining his own career and ruining Baker Mayfield's career because they put Cleveland in a position where they don't want to get rid of him because they might need him. And if I'm Baker Mayfield, then I go in there and I prove everybody wrong and I play like a world beater and go get myself a better contract. I don't know if Baker's wired that way or not. It seems to me that he's not.
That would be the smart thing to do, but
it would be. But it doesn't appear that he's going to do that.
No, it doesn't. And there's some teams out there that could use him. And
look, 100%. I mean, Seattle and Carolina off the top of my head. I mean, neither of those guys are.
The Cleveland Browns have taken the best quarterback they've had in ages that I can remember.
Yeah.
And they've basically flushed him down the toilet.
Yes.
Threw him under the bus, backed over him, whatever you want to call it.
Here's a guy who played 10 games last year, 12 games last year with a torn labrum. And could have very easily said, I'm not playing another game. I'm going to go get surgery and I'm going to be out for the season, and didn't, and played his heart out and deal. And this is the thanks he gets for that. He gets kicked to the curb. And I don't know. To me, that doesn't make sense.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And it's really a shock that he's still on the market or still out there, I guess. Seattle should be banging down the door.
They're not allowing it. They're not entertaining any talks.
They're not?
Not that I've heard of. They have not even picked up the phone. That's why.
You don't think behind closed doors?
I mean, maybe. But you'd think at some point in time you'd hear about it.
I mean, right now he's on the cheap. That's the problem. Is he's on the cheap, so they could just keep him.
I mean, but why? But my question is this mutual agreement to not come to camp. Like, what does that do? Like, other than it guarantees him not to get hurt.
I think it's basically. I think they're going to trade him, cut him, something. I think they're eventually, before the season starts, will sever ties with him, whether it's through a trade or what. I just don't. They don't have no leverage right now. What are you going to do?
As an organization, what sense does that make? If Watson gets suspended for a year, are you really the? I'd have to go look up who the third string.
Do you think Watson? Or do you think do you think Baker Mayfield's going to go out there and play for you next year? Even if that's what it comes down to. Because Baker might say,
I don't think he's going to not play for you. I don't think he's going to just intentionally throw interceptions. I mean, if you tell him you're the starter, you're here, you're on our roster, you have to show up. I don't think Baker Mayfield's just going to go sit out. I mean, I could be wrong. But boy, that's a terrible career move. If they come to you and say,
hey, we need you to play.
Yeah.
I know. You know Baker Mayfield's attitude. I mean, that's the kind of the reasons why a lot of people
I get it. Yeah, I mean, listen, I see both sides of it. I see his side of it as like the text message you sent me the other day. Cleveland texts him and says, "Hey, we need you to play." Well, sorry, I'm not going to be there.
We're short staffed tonight, and he's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, well, sorry about your luck."
Yeah, sorry about your bad luck. And I get that. But I also get that it's your job. You're under contract. They're paying you to show up and play. And while they haven't done you right, unfortunately, you're on the roster and you're being paid, and you were paid the same amount last year, and you had no problem playing through a torn labrum last year for the same amount of money. So it's not about the money. The bottom line is go out there and make a playoff appearance. And if I'm Baker Mayfield, do I re-sign with them? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not sign another contract with the Cleveland Browns. But I will play out this year, and I will make myself an audition. I will do that.
I mean, that would be the smart move for his career, and maybe Baker will do that. I don't know. I think.
I mean, if he's getting advice to not do that, then whoever's giving him that advice needs to be fired.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Sorry, I was trying to upload a picture here. Good old Baker Mayfield, baby.
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel bad for Baker. I really do, and that's because
We do.
he's
Because
he gives it his all, and he's given it his
yeah,
all, and that's one thing. And I've always fought for the guy is he leaves it all on the field. He played
yeah. I
injured
mean,
last year, and
was never a fan of the college, crotch chop,
oh, I loved it. I loved
you know,
planting the flag in Ohio
yeah,
State.
yeah, planting the flag on the AstroTurf field. Hey, that's not going to stick in the AstroTurf there, hero. But all right, like I mean, I get it. I get it. The arrogance and the I came in here and everybody bet against me. See, that to me is the guy he's always been. It's everybody's bet against me. I'm going to prove the world wrong. And that's what's happening now. So why not act the same way? Why not go into Cleveland and go, I'm not going home. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to practice and I'm going to show you why you should have never traded for Deshaun Watson to begin with. So why now all of a sudden are you not that guy? You've been that guy your whole career, and now you're not that guy. You're not the guy that says, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Right.
So why, if you've been that guy your whole life, why change now? If somebody tells me, hey, you're not good enough, well, I'm going to go and show them why I am. And then when I sign on with somebody, what I'm going to really do is I'm going to go sign with somebody else in that division and beat you twice a year. What I really want to do. Go up to Pittsburgh and be the quarterback of the Steelers and come into Cleveland twice a year and beat the brakes off of them. I just don't. I mean, to me, it just doesn't make sense. Deshaun Watson has put the Cleveland Browns behind the 8 ball, and why they're still hitching their wagons to him is beyond me.
You're exactly right. Look, Deshaun Watson, talent-wise, when he played, was one of the best in the league. Top 5 quarterback, definitely top 10. And we know the NFL, there's no morals. There's no morals in the NFL.
Doesn't appear that way.
And we know that if whenever Deshaun plays, it's going to happen, and he'll play for Cleveland, and they're going to win games. They've got a good team. They got a good defense. They've got weapons. They've got one heck of a coach. I think he's done a fantastic job there. Winning will cure all. And that's just it.
It will.
And it's sad.
The problem is you're not going to win if that kid that's sitting on there, the kid that's in OTAs right now throwing passes around, that guy's not going to win you 6 football games.
Well, and maybe they keep Baker. My thing is I don't know if Baker's going to play, but the smart move would be to keep Baker. But the Cleveland Browns are trying to what's that saying? Have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
This is our franchise quarterback, and if he can't play this year, we got Baker Mayfield, who's one heck of a quarterback. We need you to get through 1 year, and I just don't. I think it's going to bite him in the foot in the end, or bite him in the butt, whatever. In the end of the day, because does Baker play? That's a big question mark. I think he probably demands a trade, doesn't show up. If Deshaun Watson can't play, well, the Cleveland Browns are last in the division. They're not going to the playoffs. This is a win now team. This looks horrible on the organization. You're asking question marks. Someone's got to take blame for it. If it falls away and they've got to start a third string, or maybe they can talk Fitz Magic out of retirement, but it's not looking good for Cleveland right now. It's really not. And I don't know. And I would love for a Cleveland Brown fan to jump on here and give me some remarks, because I would love to go talk to the Cleveland Brown fan base. Do you support Watson? How can you support Watson with all this going on? But like I said, Deshaun will start and play for them. They will win some games eventually, and winning will cure all. It just depends on how far they get. and everything else like that. But it's just it's all up in the air, and every day you learn something new about the Deshaun Watson case.
That's the problem.
Is there a 25th? Is there a 26th? Are we going to get to 30? 35? It's mind blowing. Is there going to be 66, Craig? He had 66 women in 17 months. Could there be 66 of these women all come out and say?
I mean, it could be, but I think some of them over the course of time agreed with what he was doing and were okay with it and but the fact that you have 66, that to me is a mind-boggling number of like you said, the team should have a designated person that does this. I understand that some guys have their own personal, but 66, you had to, in that point in time, in that 17 months, you had to find somebody that did everything that you were looking for. It obviously wasn't a massage. It just wasn't. At this point in time, we're calling them massage therapists, but it just was not. It was not that. And the stories to me are just too. He moved the towel to the side. He did this. He did that. He did this. He got in this position. There are too many similarities 23 or 24 times for this to be a money grab. It just doesn't make it just doesn't.
Right.
24 people, they're not all going to get together and have dinner and go, okay, he did this to you, he did this to you, and they're all making notes together, and then they all went and filed a suit and their stories match. This is 24 different people at different times coming forward and going, hey, that lady said he did this. Guess what? He did the same thing to me. He did the same thing to me. He did the same thing to me. And this is repeatable behavior. And
there's no other way than to label Deshaun as other than a sexual predator.
As a predator.
Yes.
Predator. And this, to me, should be, it probably won't be, but it should be career ending. He should never see the NFL field again. If the NFL allows him to go back on the field, then anybody, the Browns, the commissioner, the anybody involved, how do you expect, if this guy walked on the field for the Dallas Cowboys, I'm done. I'm not supporting. I've been a Dallas Cowboy fan for 30 years. And I'm done if somebody like this plays for the organization. I mean, Greg Hardy, yes, I get it. I wasn't a fan of Greg Hardy. I didn't go run out and get a Greg Hardy jersey. I understand Dallas has had numerous people that have done things, but nothing to this effect. Nothing to this 66 times in a 17-month time span of repeatedly doing the same thing and forcing yourself upon women. And nobody seems a problem with it.
The only thing I've ever seen that would be worse was Penn State.
Yes. And everybody got fired. Everybody.
Jerry Sandusky's sick. I want some language I'm not going to put out on the show. But Deshaun Watson's a sexual predator, and there's no way about it. Look, I know how the NFL works. I mean, I know that Deshaun Watson will get another chance. I'd rather see Colin Kaepernick play in the NFL before Deshaun Watson.
That's my argument. My argument is you're going to allow somebody like Deshaun Watson, he's not going to be blacklisted. And yet Colin Kaepernick, for kneeling on the sideline and voicing freedom of speech and freedom of opinion and whatever, cannot play in the NFL again. And to me, that doesn't make sense. To me, that doesn't. Somebody has to tell the NFL this is what we're talking about. You have taken this guy and allowed him not to play in the NFL anymore, but you're allowing Deshaun Watson to.
And I can't
mean,
stand I can't stand Colin Kaepernick. But look, it's just you cannot have a guy like this representing the NFL.
No.
I know. I know I'm saying you can't. He'll be playing for Cleveland. I know he will.
And there'll be somebody will be in the stands with the number 4 Cleveland Browns jersey on. And whatever week he plays, they will show up to the field and they will walk in the gate and they will sit in the stands and they will support Deshaun Watson. But
Yeah.
I just don't see how.
Yeah. I got before we move on to the headlines, I got one key advice for the Cleveland Browns. If you're going to keep Deshaun Watson and go down that road, you get Deshaun a male masseuse. One male, and that's it. That's all he gets the rest of the time in Cleveland.
And that's what I'm trying to say is I don't think he can just stop this behavior. I just don't think this is a behavior when this is shown over a year and some change, year and a half. You're just as the Cleveland Browns, I cannot justifiably go, well, he's just not going to do that while he's here.
Yeah.
It's just not going to stop. It's just not going to go away.
Yeah.
So you run the risk of it happening again. And to me, you can't do that. That's just there's too much. He needs some like therapy
Something
to figure out what's wrong.
Something. And yeah. And like I said, Cleveland gets you a male masseuse because I don't think he's having the men do this. And that's all you're allowed to see. All right, guys. Well, that was our dive into the Deshaun Watson breaking news that happened. And I'm surprised that, for Houston to do that, they're going to get punished. You'd hope so, that they would get some maybe draft picks taken away, something. Maybe they have to force to sell their team. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. But all right, guys. Well, we're going to jump into the headlines of the week. Well, Craig, we got a couple different ones. I actually added one a while ago. I forgot about this, but let's jump into the NBA Finals. That's right. That's happening now. NBA Finals. Oh, look, buddy. Don't forget about that lunch, Craig. Boston takes a 2-1 lead the other night, and as they win, I think it was 116 and 100. Boston's come out to play, and not only have they been playing really well, they're beating up Golden State down low. They're rebounding Golden State a bunch. They're playing really well down low, and they're beating up on Golden State down low. And Draymond Green's been abysmal the last couple games, and he came out and said it that he's played like trash. And no, now this series is definitely not over. 2-1. I'm not counting the Splash Brothers out. I just like a good series, and I think Boston is finally going to win. And they've always been that team they've talented. They didn't make it. They got to the playoffs. They never made it this far. So I'm hoping they win it. Can they close it out? I'm not sure. Hopefully they do. The Golden State's not out of it though. Golden State's definitely not out with Curry.
Golden State has won every third quarter and won it tremendously. The 2 games that they've lost, they've only scored 11 and 16 in the fourth quarter. You can't do that. That's what happened to Dallas. That's what happened to, Phoenix. You can't have in the NBA, you can't have a 10 or 12-point quarter. You can't do it. I mean, Golden State, when they were down big at halftime, they come out in the third quarter and cut the lead by 7 in one play.
Yeah.
But yet turn around in the fourth quarter and score 11 points. Like, You had 7 in one play, and now you score 11 in the fourth quarter. You just can't go away and hide like that. You're never going to win an NBA basketball game when you have an 11-point quarter.
Oh,
That
no.
you have individuals that have 11-point quarter, not a team. And so if you're going to go out and not be able to play 4 quarters of basketball, then you're not going to win an NBA championship.
What's crazy is, look, the Dallas Mavericks played really good on defense this year. They were a good defensive basketball team.
Well, and so is Golden State. I don't understand all of a sudden this perimeter lack of.
Well, and Golden State, ran all over Dallas. Boston is that much better. Boston is an elite defensive team, and I think they're really causing them to have fits. And there's guys that played against the Mavericks that went off. What's his name? I think it's Winfrey, or I can't think. Golden State guy. He had like 18 rebounds in one game against Dallas, and he's playing. He looks like a nobody out there against
Wiggins.
Boston.
Andrew Wiggins.
It's just crazy. This defense is for real for Boston, and I think, you know, when they won game one, and Tatum only had 12 points, I said Golden State's in a little bit of trouble here, because if their best players only scored 11, 12 points, and they were able to get the win on the road, that tells me there's a lot of pieces here that are going that can help this team win without Tatum going off. And when you got Tatum going off, and you consistently have 3 of their players in double digits, and Al Horford, sometimes he looks like he's 45 years old, and sometimes he looks like he's resurrected his career out there, you know, putting it together for one run there for Boston. I really think they're going to finish the deal. Now, I do think that the Golden State Warriors will come back and probably win this next. This next one's a must-win game for Golden State. It's a must-win.
Tonight is the tail sign. If you go down 3-1, you're in trouble.
They in Boston tonight?
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh. This is
2-2, 1-1. Yeah. So,
Boston has the advantage now, right?
Yeah, because they won in Golden State.
Yeah. So,
but if Golden State wins tonight, then they get home court advantage back, and everything's right with the world.
Right.
And
it's basically 0-0.
It basically 0-0, and it's a best of 3 instead of a best of 7. So just like, you know, where the hockey was, you know, so it can be done, but 3-1 makes it 3-1 is not impossible. Cleveland came back. If you remember years ago, Cleveland was down 3-1 to this same team and came back and beat them. So it can be done, but I mean, this Boston team is not going to allow that. I mean, they're just not. Defensively, offensively, they will have one game in the next 3. You know, if they win tonight, they'll have one in the next 3 that they put the clamps down and do that. So yes, to me tonight is, if I'm Golden State, a must win. You show up and you have to throw haymakers, and you have to let Boston know you're not giving up. It's going to, I mean, you're going to see in the first 10 minutes of the game whether or not Golden State came to play. If Boston comes out and runs 21 points in the first quarter, 27 points in the first quarter, then Golden State's in trouble. Boston's averaging over 50% for the series. You can't allow that. You can't allow a team to shoot over 50%. They're going to win every game. I mean, it's just, that's what's going to happen.
Right. And this defense is giving this Golden State some fits, and Curry's going to get his, and but it's giving fits for everybody else. And Draymond Green says he hasn't been in a rhythm, and he's not playing good on defense or off. He's not been much of an offensive guy, but
his stat line has been atrocious.
Atrocious. All right. Well, the next headline, it's golf. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk a little bit of golf here. Not too much of it though, but there's a new LIV golf tournament, and the PGA players were told, you better not go play in this tournament or we will suspend you. Well, 17 of those players were suspended because they went over there and played in the LIV or golf tournament. Now, they would be dumb not to turn this away, because they're paying these guys like they've never been paid before. Some of these guys are making more money than they've ever made playing their entire life of career in golf.
Yeah.
So you would be dumb to turn it down. But break it down here, Craig, because you know more about this than I do. I don't watch golf. I don't pay too much attention to it. But what does this suspension mean? Because I've heard it really means not too much for a lot of them.
So basically, what it is this is a Saudi Arabian based tour. It's a whole nother tour, and Greg Norman is running the show. He's not financing it, but he's like the spokesperson. He's the one getting all these guys and getting them to sign up. And they gave Phil Mickelson $200 million before he ever played a hole. They gave Dustin Johnson $125 million before he ever played a hole. And they offered Tiger almost $1 billion, and he turned it down.
Wow.
But what the PGA Tour has said was, these guys, if you go and play on this tour, then we are going to you will not be allowed to be on our tour anymore. Well, what these guys did is basically, as a loophole, they resigned their membership before they ever went and played a hole on the other tour. So they were not a PGA member when they actually swung the golf club for the LIV tour. And so the PGA waited until they teed off and put an email out and said, as soon as these guys tee off, we're dropping the hammer. And that's what the guy did. The guy waited until they teed off, and then he dropped the hammer. And he suspended him. The problem is he suspended him from the PGA. Well, that really means they can only not play in the Phoenix Open and anything that's sponsored by the PGA. But all 4 of the majors are USGA events. So they can still play all these events. They're still allowed to play all these events. Also, another loophole is Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson. They have over 20 victories. They've been on the tour for over 10 years. They're lifetime exempt. So really, by resigning, they didn't play a hole on the other tour while still being a PGA member. They can come back and resubmit. They can leave the LIV tour, the LIV tour, or whatever it's called, and come back to the PGA and sign up for tour events, and they're lifetime members. So they have an argument, if they take it to court, that we resigned, we went over here and played, but we came back and we're lifetime members. It's no different than if I was to take a 6-month break and not play in any tournaments. I don't have to qualify anymore. I'm a lifetime member. I can walk up, I can hand you my card, and I can play in any tournament I want. I don't have to have a certain score. I don't have to be any ranking in the world. I don't have to have an exemption. I'm exempt from anything. I can go play anything. So the bottom line is, these guys aren't really scared of what the suspensions meant. Nothing. Even if they don't play a tour event, even if they just come back, if they go make all their money on the LIV tour and then come back and play the 4 majors, they play 4 PGA Tour events a year, which aren't PGA Tour events, then they're fine. They're fine. They're going to make they've already made $200 million, $125 million. They've already made. Now, DeChambeau, who didn't get a big signing bonus, that could be a problem for him. That they could, now DeChambeau might be in trouble because he doesn't have the lifetime exemption. He doesn't have the things that Johnson and I don't know. I didn't see an official thing that said DeChambeau resigned before, and he hasn't actually swung a club. He's told them he was going to play, but he's not going to play till next week. So I don't really know now. So that's the deal with them. I just, to me, you can't pass this money up. $200 million before I ever swing a club.
To play one tournament?
I mean, he didn't even have to play. He just had to say he was on the tour. Like, I mean, he had to show up to the event. And they're only playing 54 holes. That's why it's called the LIV tournament, because it's instead of 72 holes, it's 54, and LIV in Roman numerals is 54. So that's why that's the tour name. But this is a Saudi Arabian based deal, and they have enough money that they said they could buy every major sport, the NFL included. They have that kind of money. So whoever's funding this
has money to throw around.
Has no financial problem whatsoever. So these guys are going to make all the money they want to make. They don't have to play. They don't have to put the wear and tear on their bodies. They only got to play 54 holes instead of 72, and they make more money. I don't see why they wouldn't do it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I think the PGA Tour is
well, it's dumb for the PGA to tell these guys they can't play, because that's more people, that's more eyes on your sport, that's more money for you, right? Like, to have the big names in these on these tours.
So. And eventually they're going to get somebody to. Right now, you can only watch it online, but eventually somebody's good. They're going to get a TV deal done with somebody, and this will be on television, and it'll be just like you're watching PGA. It'll just have a different logo in the corner. It's the only thing different.
So, all right. Well, did you hear about Lincoln Riley's comments he made about OU? And he did a little sit-down interview, and he basically threw shots at Oklahoma, and just talked about how he never felt like he could get the right amount of talent there, and never felt like they were good enough talent-wise, and that's why they never could go and beat Alabama and win the big games. But Lincoln, you moved on. Can we just move on? Can you stop talking about OU? This is not fresh anymore. It's not like you went there, last week. Move on. Go to USC. Deal with it. Honestly, when he went to USC, I thought this looked really bad, because OU is going to go to the SEC, and it looked like he was kind of dodging going and playing real competition, in my opinion. Go to USC and stop talking your smack on OU, and just stop talking about him. Just keep their name out of your mouth.
Doesn't this happen everywhere? Anybody does this. Everybody does this. When you leave this place to go to that place, you get to the new place, and yet MF the place you just left. That's what you do. I mean, that's what all these guys do.
Well, and he acts like Oklahoma was bad, and they're not bad.
No, he won there. He had 2 Heisman Trophy winners.
It's success.
I don't know how. Yeah, you never had a losing season, so just.
Well, and it's kind of a shot at himself.
Because he caught heat. Because they thought that he jumped ship because he didn't think he could win in the SEC. The timing of him leaving was they were about to go to the SEC, so it looks to them like Lincoln Riley jumped ship because he thought he was going to get beat by the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Texas A&Ms. They thought you can't compete in the big boy league, and so you ran out of the deal. And so he's trying to say that it wasn't me, it was the talent that I had. That's why in the SEC I don't think we're going to compete.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
And it's funny too, because you're the recruiter. If you don't have talent there, that is on you.
Yep.
You're taking a shot at yourself. We couldn't get talent there. That's you. That is you. You think people just love to live in Alabama? No, probably not. I mean, I don't know. I've never been there. It may be a lovely place. But they go there because Nick Saban has built that championship level team. He's there every year. He's a great recruiter. He gets players to go. In college, you're the recruiter, Lincoln. If you didn't have enough talent, that was on you. You go to USC, and USC is probably the better job. You can probably get more talent there, being on the West Coast and living that kind of lifestyle instead of Oklahoma. I get it. Just stop talking about Oklahoma. And honestly, I felt like when he moved to go there, he's probably going to run the Pac-12 now. What?
Because there's no competition.
Exactly. He's going to run over the Pac-12 and be like, look what I can do. Look what I can do with my real talent. I got to come over here and I got all these players. But
Problem is when he
you're not
gets to
facing
the
the big
problem is
dogs.
when he gets to the deal, when he gets to the
Tournament.
playoff games,
Yeah.
he's still going to play the team that he didn't want to play
Yeah.
to begin with. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. I've never been a Lincoln Riley fan anyway. I just, the guy to me came in and took Bob Stoops' team and won with it is all he did. He didn't ever that he was there. What was he there? 3 years?
3 or 4, yeah.
I'm not even sure that any of his talent ever saw the field. Like the guys that he recruited are just now starting to play. So I mean, maybe that's why he left, is because he knew he did a horrible job recruiting. He's like, "Oh, these guys are fixing to start playing." I don't know. I mean, he got Jalen Hurts just dropped in his lap because Alabama, went with Tua instead of thing. So he got the quarterback just dropped in his lap. Like, he didn't have to recruit Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts just wanted to come play for somebody.
Exactly. Well, Jack Del Rio stepped in it, spit his own foot in his mouth as he made some unfortunate comments the other day. I'm going to try and say this without, I guess, putting my own foot in my mouth. So basically, Jack Del Rio basically was saying all the riots that happened in torching cities, no one talks about that. But the insurrection, I guess, is what they're calling it, Craig. The insurrection of when they stormed
the
Capitol building.
Yeah.
He was when he said there was a dust up. Now, horrible choice of words. That is exactly why he's getting killed. When you called the insurrection at the Capitol a dust up, it basically seems like you didn't think it was a big deal. You were minimizing what happened, and he was trying to say, why are we going to minimize this? And then he ended up minimizing the insurrection, whatever. That's pretty much why. That's pretty much the big ordeal. Is he was minimizing the Capitol thing, is it Jacksonville? Is he on Jacksonville? No, Washington Commanders.
No, Washington's defensive
and yes, and they
such a big deal.
They fined him $100,000, and it'll be whatever. It'll be whatever, right?
My question is, why was this even brought up in an NFL press conference? Like, what? This was a year ago, a year and a half ago. It has nothing to do with a NFL franchise. It has nothing to do with it happened in Washington.
This was said a year and a half ago?
No, the actual event that he's talking about.
I was like, wait,
was over a year ago. So why are we now interviewing Jack Del Rio in an NFL preseason meeting and bringing up a capital, whatever you want to call it? It has nothing to do with the NFL. It has nothing to do with the Commanders football team. It has it's a political event and an NFL event. It's two separate deals. So how did we go down this rabbit hole and put ourselves in this position? How did Del Rio put himself in this position? That's what I don't understand is who's the reporter that asked it? How did it get brought up? Like,
why did he answer?
I heard the comment, but I mean, like, how did we get to this point? Like, I just don't understand why these guys are answering questions about political events that they're not part of.
He could easily have said, no comment, next question.
Yeah. We don't look. This is an NFL.
I get what he was trying to say. I get what he's trying to say. If he didn't use the word dust up, this would not be a big deal. I agree with what he was saying.
Donnybrook, like, what do we? I don't know.
I get what he was trying to say. Why are we focusing such on this when no one cared, when people are rioting cities and burning down buildings and shooting people? I get it. But he used the words dust up, and it minimalized what happened. And ladies and gentlemen, the riots weren't correct, and storming the Capitol building was not correct, no matter what side of the fence you sit on. I'm a Republican, but I know the Capitol building shouldn't have been taken over. Bottom line, none of them were right. But why are you? That's a good question. I would have said next question. I'm not. That's setting yourself up for failure. You're going. You're
Why
going
is
to
that
say
even
some.
I mean, we're
Just
did
decline.
I go to the political? What, I'm not running for
Yeah.
governor. I'm not. I'm a defensive coordinator for a football team.
And we don't talk politics on the show.
No, and that's what
Because
I
that's
just don't
all it does.
understand.
Exactly.
Neither should the Washington Commanders. So I just don't. I don't know.
All right, guys, it's time. Maybe the time you were looking for. It's that Craig's hockey hat trick.
Okay, so one series is over. Colorado has gone in and swept the Edmonton Oilers, and it wasn't even really
They swept them? I didn't know they swept them.
they
Wow.
just not even a deal. So this gives Colorado some time to heal. It came out today that if Tampa wins on Saturday, then the finals will start on the 15th. If it goes to game 7, then they'll start on the 18th of June. So that gives Colorado some time, gives Kadri some time to heal, gives these guys that have some bumps and bruises. But we also have seen what it's done to Golden State when you wait a week or 10 days to play a game. So that's the West side. This is the first time since 2001 that the Colorado Avalanche have made the Cup. They have it. Like I said, I've said all along that they were the clear-cut Western Conference leader in the clubhouse. They're going to be the team to deal with for the next several years. They're young, they're talented, they're fast, they have a deal. Now, on the east side, the Rangers came out and jumped to a 2-0 lead. It looked like he had Tampa on their heels. Tampa looked overmatched by the youth. The average age of the Rangers is 26 years old. These guys were skating circles around the Lightning. All of a sudden, we shifted back to Tampa, and bang, 2-2. We go back to New York last night, and Tampa goes, and it's 1-1 with about a minute and a half left, and Tampa puts 2 goals on them in the last minute and a half and wins the game. And at the end of the game, I am very curious to see what the NHL does with this. Did you see what happened last night at the end of the game?
I heard something about it today, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
5-on-5. We're all throwing haymakers. There's 3 refs trying to break up guys on the ice. Everybody's swinging. Everybody's throwing fisticuffs. The goalies are fighting. I mean, it was a melee. It was like they waited, the horn went off, and everybody dropped their gloves on both sides. And they just, each of them picked a guy, and they just went to throwing haymakers. And so how the NHL will not put some suspensions out for this it would be mind-blowing to me.
They're going to suspend everybody?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to, you can't suspend 15 guys. There wouldn't be enough on the roster to field a team. But there's no way that you'd have to find out, go back and watch the video on who maybe, but it almost was simultaneously that the buzzer went off, and it was like one of the 2 teams had this in the plan that if we lose tonight or if we win tonight, we're throwing gloves, and I mean it was just automatic, and so it'll be interesting to see if there is any suspensions for that. But I think Tampa now, I think it's going to be just like I've called it all along. I think it's going to be Tampa and Colorado, and I think it's going to be a no-holds-barred 6 or 7 game shootout at the OK Corral. Just hockey. I mean, just a wonderful, wonderful series. And I think that's what the NHL wanted, and I think that's what they're going to get. Some other news came out today, and I didn't even realize this guy was still part of the Dallas Stars roster. I thought he had retired. Ben Bishop gets traded to Boston for a late round draft pick and some cash considerations. They say it's a salary cap move. I didn't even realize Ben Bishop was still a part of the deal. I thought he had an injury and retired because of an injury. He used to be at one time. He used to be one of the top goalies in the league, and that's why Dallas got him. And he led them the year that they went to the Cup in the bubble. He led them that year, and then got hurt and couldn't play, and that's why the backup had to come in and got his contract, was because um, you know is because the he got hurt and never played again. And I thought he retired. So I'm looking very forward to this Stanley Cup final. It's been a really good playoff. It's been the New York Rangers. Even if they don't come back and do another thing in this series, they're going to be around for a very long time to come. Um, I just I've really, really, really gotten back into hockey this year and watched all of it, not just the Dallas Stars. And there's going to be some really, really good teams. Dallas, if they're going to make a run and make deep in the playoffs, they're going to have some teams like Colorado, like St. Louis, like Edmonton, they're Calgary. You're going to have these teams that you have to get better than, and so they're going to really have to do something with their roster and do something defensively, because all these teams are offensive based. Colorado, Edmonton, St. Louis, they're all offensive based teams that are you're going to have to learn how to play defense. You're going to have goalies. You're going to have guys in front of them. And I mean, and even though you seem to have the goalie situation in Dallas in a good spot with a young goalie who's really good, you obviously in the playoff game in Game 7, you didn't put any defense in front of him, and he faced 7,000 shots and couldn't stop all of them. So you're going to have to play some defense in front of him to get yourself into this discussion. So while I think Tampa is on its way to a three-peat, I still think Colorado is going to be your champion at the end of the day. Either your mic's off or I can't hear you, one of the two.
My mic was off, my bad. I was doing some things with the color in there, but my bad. I've watched more hockey than I have in a long time, and I'm getting back into it, Craig. I'm going to jump back into it. I'm going to watch the finals, whoever it is. I think Colorado's fantastic, and we've seen this. We've known for a while this team was coming. They're young. New York Rangers had a chance to kind of give it, and they've kind of flushed that down the toilet. But I'm excited for the series. When is the Stanley Cup series starting? I know we got one more game. Right, of Lightning, or we already know the Lightning haven't won it all, right? Like they still got to finish one more game.
Yeah, like I mentioned that a minute ago.
Sorry.
The 15th, if the Lightning wins Saturday, then the finals will start the 15th. If they go to a Game 7, it starts the 18th of June.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely be watching.
And all the games are at 7 o'clock. And so,
I'll watch it.
Probably won't
the next day recorded.
You'll watch a period of it and you'll go to bed. And
I'll watch it recorded.
I'll tell you in the meeting in the morning who won.
Well, let's go ahead and agree on that. Do you like this ticker on the bottom? I just found that. It's pretty neat, No, whatever. Craig.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, let's get back to the headlines here. We got 2 football ones to finish off the show. It's been a great show. It's been a long show with Spotlight of the Week and talking about Deshaun Watson and all the other headlines we have. Now, Hunter Renfrow got a deal, an extension there, a 2-year extension, $32 million, you said?
Yeah, 2 for 32.
Fantastic wide receiver.
Yeah, and I think it gives him some money, but also if you break that down at $16 a year, I mean that kind of puts him in the window of what these guys are making. And so everybody wins. I mean, the Raiders have a second solid wide receiver on top of
Devontae Adams.
And I think it was a good deal for everybody. It gets Renfrow some money, and
it's a team friendly deal.
Yeah,
You get this guy there for 2 more years. You get to work with Devontae Adams, which means Hunter Renfrow is going to be open more. You get them
should.
working with their tight end there, and it's going to be a fantastic offensive side of the football for the Oakland Raiders this year, or the Vegas Raiders. That's
Yeah.
just
So
ingrained.
so I mean, I thought it was a good deal for everybody. I thought it was a smart move by Vegas, and I thought it was a good idea for Renfro to sign it. I don't think he got like you're not going to get more going anywhere else. I mean, so I think you're in a good situation. He realizes that, and he signed a deal.
And speaking of, we brought Devontae Adams up. He was talking in the media, and first of all, he says talent wise that Derek Carr is just about the same as Aaron Rodgers. And look, guys, there's no way he believes this. Okay, but what do you expect him to say? You expect him to say, "Well, Aaron Rodgers is far above a better quarterback than my new one." He's not going to say that, guys. Let's be real. We all know Aaron Rodgers is better than Derek Carr. Ended. Second, he came out and said, "Yeah, well, there's rumors about Green Bay was going to pay me. I could make more money in Green Bay." He came out and said, "Yeah, that's true," but he hinted that he wasn't willing to deal with not knowing if Aaron Rodgers was going to be there for 1 year, 2 years, and be done. So that's kind of another reason to add into his decision. So he's come out and talked a lot more on that than, and Aaron Rodgers really hasn't said anything on the Devontae Adams departure. But, and I didn't know this until you told me, DK Metcalf sitting out. He's sitting out for more money? I'm guessing that's what they all sit out for, right?
Yeah, he wants to kind of. I mean, he sees these wide receivers cashing in, and he wants to be part of it. He wants a long term secure deal. He's mad because they got rid of his quarterback, so he's afraid that if they don't give him a contract, um, that he's going to have a season number wise that is going to make him look like he's not productive. And so if you have a non-productive season and then go out and want to ask another team to pay you like the top wide receiver, they're going to look at you and go, "But you only had 2,000 yards. Like what? No. What? We're not." So they don't. He's afraid that statistic wise, he's not going to be able to have the season with I don't know whoever they got over there, and the guy from Denver.
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock,
Pathetic.
Yeah, Drew Lock that me or you could throw the ball better than Drew Lock out there. DK Metcalf's like, what kind of stats am I going to put up with Drew Lock? None. So he's like, I don't want any part of this. So he wants out of there, or he wants them to pay him for what he's done in the past. So even if Locke is terrible like he thinks he is, and he has a horrible season and they win 4 games, well, at least I get paid to do it. I don't really. I mean, I see his side of it. I really do. You got rid of my quarterback, and my statistics are going to go in the tank, and I'm supposed. What am I supposed? I can't work with that. But
do you think he's worth
now? I think in the past he has been, but I mean, here's the deal: how much money are you costing yourself with this new CBA? The fines, they're not waivable now. The Seattle Seahawks can't go in and waive these fines, so
they can't wave that magic wand. Yeah.
Well, yeah, how much money are you losing if Seattle sticks to their guns? If Seattle sticks to their guns and says, "Oh, we're not going to give you a contract," then he loses how much money? And then he sets out games. And how dug in is DK Metcalf? I don't know.
Exactly. And well, I like DK. I think he's a really good wide receiver. He's a solid wide receiver. I would take him in Green Bay. But
and that may be the remedy is somebody comes in and swoops in and sees this standoff and goes, "Hey, he's not going to show up to your organization. We'll pay him," and gives up a first round draft pick for him, and he goes and plays for Green Bay or Kansas City or whoever is willing to back up the truck and pay the guy.
I just think he's not a great route runner. That's my only issue I have with him.
No,
but
he basically is a one-trick pony. He can go deep, and
he's
he has to go past everybody. And
he's a better Des Bryant.
Yeah, he's tall, he's physical, he can body guys up, but who? I mean, I guess Aaron Rodgers could probably get some stuff out of him.
Yes, definitely.
But I don't know if he goes to. There was a thing today on the radio that said Jerry Jones. This should be something Jerry Jones should run and do it. I mean, that'd be great. I mean, could you imagine DK Metcalf and CeeDee Lamb on, but I just don't see that ever being a deal. Plus, Dallas isn't going to pay him. They just got rid of their number one wide receiver to free up money. So
who was actually making a discount compared to what other wide receivers were making?
Well, compared to what Metcalf's going to want, he sure will. Yeah. So I just don't know. I mean, I don't know what the fines are. I don't know what the deals are. But I really thought that was interesting that even Deebo Samuel has reported to 49ers camp and said, well, we're not finding me. I'm not a big fan of this, but I'm going to go and show up. And so you got Dalton Schultz that's missing time in Dallas. And after signing the franchise tag, and then you got DK Metcalf that's holding out and wanting some more money in Seattle. And so I don't know. It's not a good look for Metcalf. It's not a financial idea for Metcalf. And I just don't know if it works. Pete Carroll came out today and said he hopes that the deal gets worked out and wants him back and hopes he comes back. But I don't.
No, there's no reason to go back there. They're in rebuild mode. He's not a rebuild talented guy. You got a coach that is
run
first and defensive football. You got Drew Lock, which is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. If I'm DK, I'm going, get me out of here. Get me out of here. And maybe this is the first start of rumblings, but he's also come out and said it's his time to shine in Seattle. He's just, so maybe he wants to be there. I don't know. Can you hear me? Hello? Don't tell me we have difficulties right at the end of the episode.
No, I got it. I don't know. It's just my headphones, I guess.
Maybe they died because you sound like you're not on headphones. You sound like you're talking straight up in the computer.
Oh no, I don't know.
Or I don't know. Well, we're about done. This is it. It's been an hour and 21 minutes so far, and it's time for me to ask you though, Craig, what do you got in your locker this week?
Well, it's pretty much this weekend's going to be a recovery weekend from a long week. Not really going to do much of anything. Work a little bit in the morning and then just kind of relax. My son goes and flies out tomorrow to go see his godparents in Florida, so I'll take him to the airport and drop him off later tomorrow afternoon. And then Sunday is just going to be probably some yard work tomorrow or Sunday, and that's about it. Just try to recover from a long week and probably watch this game 6 of the hockey tomorrow night and see what that goes, and try to catch the second half of the finals tonight. And the Giants and Dodgers start a big series this weekend. It's early in the season. You still got a lot of games left, but you don't want to go behind the 8 ball and get swept by the Dodgers and be 8 or 9 back this early in the season. So you need to win a couple of these and keep yourself in the mix here before they run away and hide in June. So that's about it. That's going to be about it this weekend. And how about you?
Well, my locker this weekend, it's my daughter's 9th birthday this week, and we actually celebrated that a little bit tonight with presents and cakes. And we had some neighbors over with their kids. We had pizza, and we had plenty of leftover pizza. Probably bought too much, but I'd rather have too many than too less, I guess. So me and you run a route tomorrow together, and then I'm on vacation next week, man. So yes, I am. That's freaking fantastic. So I'll be on Tuesday. I'll be on Friday next week. Hopefully putting out some other videos on TikTok. I haven't done that in a little bit, but it's a staycation. We were thinking about going down to Galveston, but we really don't have the money right now, especially since everything's so freaking expensive nowadays. But tomorrow I got to take my daughter and my niece to the zoo for her birthday, is continuing on her birthday week. Take them to the zoo. We got zoo passes, so that's great. Free parking, free entry. Basically, like I don't got to pay for nothing. So that's a fantastic way to do it. And I didn't even pay for the passes. That was a Christmas present from Grammy. So fantastic, even better. Just drive down there, have a good time with them tomorrow, and then probably hit up the pool tomorrow night. And then Sunday will be church and just recovering. This has been a horrible week at work. I had a stomach bug this week. I was off for 2 days. Passed that around. I think Carlos went home with that as well, but I'm all better, thank goodness now. And looking forward to vacation, man. Just a week off. I'm not doing anything. Perfect. Couldn't ask for much.
Come at a better time.
Couldn't come at a better time. I wish there was going to be more sports. I mean, I guess I can stay up and watch the hockey playoffs, and if we get into the championship next week, so that'll be good. But basketball is about to wrap up pretty much. Maybe it keeps going. Maybe go to 7 games. I don't know, but and of course I got the Rangers to watch, but they're not going to the World Series anytime soon. Marcus Semion's coming out of a slump. The other night he had 7 hits and 3 home runs. So it's good to see that all that money spent's going somewhere, except I guess not. Corey Seager's in a slump. So
yeah,
but
I like that they're finally get off my guy Woodward and talk about firing him, because he was playing Simeon all the time. And then he gets 7 home runs.
Yeah.
And Woodward, won 28-27 Boston.
28-27 Boston. Oh, that's okay. That's good. That's a good quarter for both teams there. It's really going to come down to, can Golden State play 4 quarters? Yep. Right? Can they play 4 quarters?
That's what it's been. The game that they did play 4 quarters, they won. So
I mean, when we're talking about it, if the Mavericks played 4 quarters, they're probably in the Western. They're probably in the championship. A lot of those games, they didn't play the third quarter. They didn't show up in one of the quarters, and you just can't do that. So I still interested to see what the Mavericks are going to do this offseason. What are we going to do with Brunson? We got a lot of questions there, but let's not jump into any more topics because it's already been an hour and a half, and we got to get up early. But it's been a great show. We've had a lot to talk about. Usually we'll have a spotlight of the week on Fridays. We'll deep dive into something. Today was Deshaun. Gate continues. And sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have so many headlines to talk about. We actually had to delete some headlines on this episode that maybe we could save for Tuesday. But feel free, guys, to like, click, share, listen. We live stream to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter and Twitch now. Every Tuesday and Friday, we upload the podcast. We are on every podcast platform you can find. We talk about sports, a little bit about every sport. We cover golf today. Cover some hockey with Craig's hockey hat trick, and different things. So feel free to like, subscribe, and listen, guys. Trying to grow the show. Craig, I'll see your face in the morning early, too damn early, but someone's got to do it. You saved me from having to ride with Jason, so I appreciate that. And
and my payment for that is to come in at 3:00 on Saturday morning. How lovely.
Well, as I look at it, it's getting closer to 9. I'm like, we might come in at 4. I'll let you know. But all right, guys, that's gonna be the end of this episode 126. God bless, and remember, always keep it outspoken.